Hey everybody, I'm John, and this is Blind Whiskey Reviews. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. As always, if you like the videos, please hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification so you know every time I'm uploading a new video and every time I'm starting a new live stream. And if you like the video, I'd really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. It really does help. So today, we're doing a blind review of the Weller Antique 107. So I'm really excited to do this review for you. And really quickly, I just want to do a recap of what we're doing on this channel because likely this video is going to get a decent amount of views. So if you're new to my channel, I'm doing all blind reviews. So when you see the review portion of this, I've already done that before what we're filming right now. And my wife poured the whiskey. She wrote down what the whiskey was in an envelope. She put it on the table for me. I tasted it, I drank it, I tell you my thoughts on it, and I don't know what I'm drinking at the time. And I don't know what I'm drinking until I open that envelope and tell you what I had. So it's all blind, I have no clue. I don't know that I'm drinking one of the most hyped whiskeys out there in the Weller Antique over here. So I have no clue that this is what I'm drinking. So the reviews are as honest as it can possibly be. So I hope you enjoyed the review, and let's jump back in time and get to it. All right, everybody, let's get into the whiskey. For the color, yeah, this one's a really nice deep amber color. Looks like it's sticking to the glass pretty well. I got some reasonable alcohol legs sticking on here. For the nose, first thing I'm hit with is a big, like, dark cherry fruit note. There's a little bit of vanilla there. There's a little, almost like a maple syrupy sweetness to it. It's almost even like a touch of citrus, like orange rind or orange peel. A little caramel. Smells pretty good. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. Yeah, right up front we're hit with some big fruity notes. That dark cherry, there's definitely some citrus up there on the front. Excuse me. Mid palate kind of turns into the more traditional bourbon characters, the brown sugar, the caramel. Definitely left with a little bit of fruity sweetness. Definitely picking up on some of the corn sweetness on the nose. Let's get another taste. Wow. Second sip, this got much more complex. Now that my palate kind of acclimated to it, lots of fruity characters. There's some light fruits in there, some apple. There's to go along with the dark fruits like the cherry, the plum. There's some citrus character there. Like I said, mid palate kind of switches to those more traditional bourbon characters where you're getting a little vanilla, a little caramel. But once it gets to the back of your palate, you're left with a lingering fruity sweetness. Predominantly light fruits, kind of more of that apple, a little bit of that citrus. It's really nice. I feel like every time I take a sip and then also nose it again, it's changing a little bit, and I love that. I love when whiskeys are complex. They've got a lot going on. So far so good on this one. Let's get another taste in here. Yeah, a lot more of the same. There's just a lot going on the palate. I was a little worried it wasn't going to be overly complex on the nose because the nose had a few nice flavors, but on the palate. Much, much more complex. Much more going on. I'm not getting anything that really tells me this has a lot of age on it. I'm not picking up on a ton of woody character. There is a slight touch of bitterness at the end. So again, generally for me, that means we're in the ballpark of the middle range of ages at 7, 8, 9 years. And again, now it's just much more orange forward, citrus forward, a little back note of that dark cherry. Proof-wise, this one feels like it packs the flavor of a high proof whiskey, but it doesn't feel incredibly high proof. It's not incredibly warming, just like burn on the tongue. I mean, I feel like maybe we're in the, I don't know, maybe like the 100 proof range. It's hard to tell on this one. It has a bit of a warming character to it, so it makes me feel like it's higher than that. But on the palate, it really doesn't feel like it. Like there's no aggressive burning on the tongue. The flavors are all very nice and rounded. Not sharp, but it's very bold, lots of flavor. So I mean, there's definitely some things here that would suggest to me that this has got some more proof to it than 100. But it doesn't feel like it's more than 100. It really feels like it's 95 proof. Like that's how it feels in the palate, but it's got way more flavor than most 95 proof whiskeys I think you'd find out there. I'm really enjoying this. I think it's fantastic whiskey. I love the flavors and complexity. The finish is great. I love when you're left with you're not left tasting alcohol. You're not left tasting just tons of bitterness. There's a little bit of bitter in there, but there's a little bit of the sweet to go with it. Some of the flavors are kind of lingering and just changing as I'm sitting here talking to you. So I love a long finish, a good coating mouthfeel. So this is a great whiskey. Last sip. I'm going to stick with the 100 proof just to give you a number. I really am not 100% sure on that. Let's add a couple drops. See if we can coax a few more flavors out of here. Definitely dialed the nose back a touch. Brought a little bit more of the light fruit forward. Held up okay to water. I wouldn't say that it necessarily brought out any new characters. Maybe just kind of changed the balance of the characters that were there. For me, I liked it better before, so I won't be adding water to this, but I think this is a very solid, good, drinkable whiskey. Lots of complexity, good mouthfeel, good length. Like I said, it's got a nice long finish to it. Lots of good flavors. The flavors change as you're going through it, which is nice, keeps it interesting. So I'm going to give this whiskey a good rating. I'm going to say this is a... I'll say the other thing is that I think that if I'm right, and this isn't incredibly high proof, and it's in that 100, maybe 105 range, that it packs a ton of flavor for that. Now maybe it's higher proof and it's just coming across a lot smoother, and that would explain kind of this extra flavor, but if it is a little bit lower proof, great amount of flavor for what this whiskey feels like it is. So I'm going to give this whiskey a solid rating of a 90. I think it's really, really good. Let's see what it is. This is this is Weller, the original wheated bourbon, Antique 107. Well, I've been waiting to get into this one for quite a while. I've been sitting on this bottle for a minute, so let me go grab that bottle and we can talk about this a little bit more. All right, we just finished our review of the Weller Antique 107. This is bottled at 53.5% alcohol by volume at 107 proof. So this is another one of the 3 screw top Wellers that we have. This, we already reviewed the Special Reserve, and if you haven't seen that one already, I'll link that up here so you can check out that review. This is the Antique, and there's also the Weller 12 year. So for me, this is my favorite of those 3 by far. It's likely because it's the higher proof, but it just packs a lot more punch than the other 3 do. And hopefully I'll be able to review the Weller 12 for you soon. But this is definitely my favorite. This is definitely another example of, and I said this the last time in the Weller Special Reserve review, but the famous statement from W.L. Weller is that he said, an honest whiskey at an honest price. And for many of you, including me, it is very difficult to get this whiskey for an honest price. I see this whiskey, when I do see it, regularly at $100, $120. It is almost impossible to find at retail. I was luckily able to pick this bottle of Weller up for, I believe, $25.99, so 26 bucks, which is a steal. If you can find this whiskey at the retail price of 26 bucks or even a bit more, I'd be happy to pay, 35 bucks for this whiskey, no problem. So at those prices, at close to retail, this whiskey is a steal. It is fantastic, and you saw that in the review. I enjoyed it. It packs a punch. It packs tons of flavor and a great amount of complexity. Such good whiskey, and I'm so glad I got to do this review for you blind, because it really tells you the truth about this whiskey, that it's not just hype. It is excellent whiskey. Fantastic. So one thing you may want to note is, if you can get this whiskey, go out and buy it. There's rumors that the price of this whiskey is about to double in terms of retail pricing, so that this is going to be available for somewhere about $50 retail, which that's a tough price to pay for it, although I think it's worthy of, is it worth that kind of money? It's hard to say it is when I can buy it now for 25 bucks. So if they just came out with this whiskey and put it out day one at $50 retail, I would tell you that I might be tempted to buy it. I would say 45 bucks is maybe getting close to my limit. But when they're just doubling the price for the sake of doubling it, that upsets me a bit. It's going to make it really difficult for me personally to buy this bottle again, because I don't like when I'm getting gouged unnecessarily for a whiskey that I've been paying 25 bucks for however long it's been. So take that as you will, but if you can get this whiskey at retail right now, do it. Do it now. Enjoy. And hopefully you can find it, because this one has definitely become very hard to find over the last several years. So if you have had any of the Weller line, I would love to hear which is your favorite. For me, it's always been Antique. What is it for you? Is it the Weller 12? Is it the Weller Antique? William LaRue Weller doesn't count in this batch. Let's go with the 3 screw tops. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can send me an email at blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com. And until next time, cheers.